there's a professor from Guelph, University of Guelph, named Alex Smith, and he approached us this year to get permission to set up a malaise trap, which is what this is called here. The insects come down, you can see in the back here there's a little rise of land, and they'll naturally fly. One's just biting me right now. They'll naturally fly down along this little ephemeral stream downhill, and so it's a very good site for the trap. They'll go in underneath these flaps, and this is filled with ethyl alcohol, which is a material that's used for trapping them. So they'll fly up and they'll get into this upper jar chamber and then eventually drop down into the ethyl alcohol, and they're preserved there. They'll be taken back. We take them out every 2 weeks and put in a new jar, new sample jar. So these are taken back to Guelph, and he's doing barcoding, DNA sequencing of the insects. He's found that this is a really good site for finding parasitic wasps, and there's actually a number of them that he's been identifying which are so far unnamed. So there are actually insects that he's finding that are new to science. One of the things that's happening here, and it's been happening slowly over the last probably the last last century or so, is earthworms are invading the Shaw Woods. And earthworms are an invasive species. All of our native earthworms were killed off by the ice ages. So any earthworms in North America, in Canada, are European origins. What we're finding here is the big problem is the forest floor is changing very, very radically. At one time we would have had 3-4 inches of leaf mold, duff, on the surface in a forest like this. The trees and the plants have been adapted over centuries to grow in that type of environment. Now what's happening is the leaf litter is virtually evaporating. The earthworms will cycle that material down under the ground. Their burrows may go down several feet, 3-4 feet down into the ground. So any of that nutrient material is being mixed down into the subsoil areas. It's also exposing roots. You can see right here a sugar maple root, which at one point it probably had 2 or 3 inches of leaves on it, and they've all but disappeared. And so a tree of this size in a dense forest with the amount of available light, this tree here, it could be 25-30 years old or older, and so it's been here a long time, and it probably started growing when there was still when this area was still fairly vacant. So it's creating a totally different forest floor than what originally these plants had adapted to be growing in. So we're fairly worried about that. It's something that a lot more research has to be done on. One of the early indications are that high numbers of white-tailed deer have some relation with high numbers of earthworms. So this is an area of study that's going on presently. They say that a log on the forest floor is more valuable than one standing. You know, it's got there's more habitat for critters when the tree actually falls over. So you want to preserve those big old hulking giants when they come down, and not try to clean them up. You know, some people think that they have to clean up trees when they fall, but that's okay if you have a pathway or a road or something. But unless you're really trying to have high access to the area, those trees are really valuable when they come down. Especially the bigger they are, the more valuable they are.
Yeah, it's habitat.
Yeah, it's habitat.